Who are you? What do you want?
Adventure Game Geek.
He's solving riddles great and small.
Adventure Game Geek. Adventure games, he loves them all.
Every day is a new quest, exploring north, south, east, to west. Point and click to find the answers that we seek. Adventure Game Geek.
Hello there, fellow adventurers. Today we're going to be putting on our detective hat and playing the role of Tex Murphy. This hat is actually the same one that I wore in my very first review of Rhea Face the Unknown, and I thought it was about time to bring it back again. So let's get right on the case, shall we? Under a Killing Moon was released in 1994 and is the third game in the Tex Murphy series. Although you don't need to play the first two games to understand the story, there are some references back to characters and events from Martian Memorandum.
Remember the Martian Memorandum case? Hey, we made a swell team.
Yeah, those were the days.
This was actually my first experience with Tex Murphy, and despite some initial reservations, it turned out to be one of the most entertaining and tasty FMV adventures. Let's take a look at the introduction.
So, they found it again, have they? I thought we'd taken care of it.
Wait, I know that voice. That's right, it's none other than James Earl Jones, the unmistakable voice of Darth Vader. And if you didn't know that, I'm sure Vader will accept your apology.
Apology accepted, Captain Nida.
The story is set in 2042, a dystopian future very poetically described by Tex.
In the moonlight, New San Francisco sparkles like a chunk of cubic zirconium, an island of hollow beauty surrounded by a red sea of radiation.
Watching his speeder flying through the dark city landscape, the first thing that comes to mind is Blade Runner. There's even a reference to Daryl Hannah, who plays the replicant femme fatale Pris.
Wow, the limited edition Daryl Hannah wig and mannequin set.
The soundtrack also has some of the same bluesy tone as Vangelis, especially in the groovy chapter opening for each day. Tex is a detective who's down on his luck and waiting for the next case to come along, which of course it does. First though, it would be handy to take our trusty gun, even if it looks like it was run over by a steamroller.
You want some of this sound? Bam, bam! Hey, bam, bam, bam! Bam! Bam, bam! Bam! And you!
As you can see, this game doesn't take itself entirely seriously, but that's all part of the fun. Same goes for the acting, which is often quite ridiculous.
The way you hold me, Tex never held me like this. Oh, kiss me, Rudy, and set my lips on fire.
Okay.
For me, the thing that took some getting used to is the control system, which uses a combination of the mouse for movement and the arrow keys to look up and down. Here's what my first attempt at playing the game looked like. Once you master the controls, however, you can fully explore the 3D environment that was unusual for an adventure game at the time, which usually used pre-rendered backgrounds. This stretch of asphalt is Chandler Avenue, and you'll get real familiar with it as you'll be up and down it throughout the game, questioning the various characters you find to talk to. For example, there's Chelsea, who runs the newsstand.
Well, hello, stranger.
The dialogue options are very unique, as instead of spelling out each response, there's a choice between such things as charmingly curious, blatant innuendo, and sleazebag offer.
You know, I am a certified love mechanic. You ought to drop by my service station sometime. I'll make you a drink and give you a tune-up.
So who else can we find to try out our love mechanic skills on?
Well, I was hoping you'd get around to asking about me. I'm just a lonely, hot-blooded woman who needs the love of a good, strong man.
Ah, sounds like a case for Tex Murphy.
I came by to ask you some questions, but maybe I ought to leave you alone.
Oh, that's okay. I get down sometimes, but oh, my Fabio calendar always cheers me up.
Then there's Rook, the pawn shop owner, who gives us our first real case that involves a stolen bracelet.
It makes me mad as hell that someone will break into the shop. I have a hard enough time making ends meet.
What's up with his face? He looks like a raisin. Well, he's not the only weird-looking character around here.
Put it on your tab?
So, as you may have guessed, these are actually mutants that have been contaminated by the radiation, which apparently not only causes skin and tooth decay, but can also turn your nose into an elephant's trunk. My personal favorite character, though, is this guy who lives in a dumpster and is addicted to chocolate.
Well, I think the Chocoholics Anonymous could do wonders for you.
How do you get lost before you eat that chocolate-colored hat of yours?
Hey, I didn't know this hat was made of chocolate. In our search to find who took the bracelet, we enter a joke shop once owned by Rusty the Clown. So where's Rusty got to? Oh dear, looks like he's gone the same way as the Joker, except I don't think he'll be laughing anymore. Even after his death though, Rusty plays an important part in solving the first day's mystery, as you scare the culprit with a life-size gyrating Rusty doll.
Ooh, it's me, Rusty Kids, and I'm here Mommy's come back!
Wow, he jumped right through the brick wall. I wonder what would happen if Tex tried doing that.
He fakes, he drives, it's a 360!
He's foul!
Traveling around is made easy with this map that shows Tex either walking between locations, flying in his speeder, or even hopping down the stairs. As the story develops, we learn there is much more at stake than just a missing bracelet. Evil forces are at work here, and by evil forces, I mean some mysterious guy sitting in a chair by the fire. His henchman is called the Chameleon, who, as his name suggests, can disguise himself by shapeshifting into different forms. He's played by Russell Means, who also starred in Lost the Mohicans and Curb Your Enthusiasm as Wandering Bear.
Hi, Wandering Bear.
Hello. How is your vagina?
Using known Hollywood actors was a great way for FMV games to sell themselves. For example, Dennis Hopper in Black Dahlia or Christopher Walken in Ripper.
This guy is unfucking believable.
I feel like Under a Killing Moon makes equally good use of all its actors, however, with James Earl Jones watching over everything as the great PI of the universe. It's worth noting that Tex Murphy himself is played by Chris Jones, who wore several hats as director and producer, as well as warning us about fire safety in the role of Inspector Burns.
Never light matches. No, no, no. Fire is dangerous. Fire made me look like this. Do you want to look like me? No, no, no.
Okay, that's it. I'm never playing with matches again after watching that. Tex doesn't always have much regard for safety though, especially when climbing skyscrapers.
Maybe if I...
Whoa! His cynical sense of humor and disregard for authority make him a fun character to play, even when the fate of the world is at stake. Yes, that's right, in his routine investigations, Tex uncovers a secret cult that has been around since Nazi Germany. So what have they been up to all this time? Well, they've been working on something called the Moonchild. A space station designed to accommodate the select few that will repopulate the Earth after it's been cleansed by a poison gas released into the atmosphere. It's pretty much the same story as the James Bond movie Moonraker.
The human race, as you know it, will cease to exist.
Where am I? Is this a dream?
Whoops, forgot to mention that you can die in this game, but don't worry, every time you die, the big PI in the sky sends you back to try again. Here you have to avoid a security probe patrolling the corridors of this research facility. This always put me on edge, thinking the probe could suddenly appear around every corner.
The fourth rule of a PI is don't get caught. The security probe isn't as forgiving as I am.
The most important item to find here is a computer chip that is essential to completing the game. Even if Tex makes it all the way to the Moonchild, it's still game over unless he figures out a way to hide the chip so it won't be found. I was totally stumped on this and had to resort to looking at the handy in-game hint system. Now be warned, this section of the review is for Tex Murphy Masters only. If that's you, or you just don't care about spoilers, kindly cast a pause video spell now and make sure no one else is listening.
Are you sure nobody's listening at the door? At the window? Very well.
The hint tells me I need to go to the Countess's mansion and get the watch. Well, the mansion only consists of one room and I already explored it thoroughly. Here's when I realized that you can raise and lower your eye level by holding the left shift and control keys. Only then did I spot the watch lying on the mantelpiece. So our lesson for today is to read the manual, or at least look at the quick reference guide. I'm not going to give away the ending, except that this guy's performance is priceless. In summary, this is one of the best FMV adventure games I've played. Wait, the box says it's an interactive movie. I'm the adventure game geek, not the interactive movie geek. Well, anyway, thank you folks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now I'm gonna go sing in the shower.